Hey guys, my name is Kelsey at Mellowstate. Today we're doing a thrift with me vlog where I bring you along. I'm going to be wearing my Meta glasses where I can film while shopping. If you're new to my channel, I am a full-time reseller on Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, and whatnot. So today I'm going to be sourcing for all of those platforms. This route I take is usually 4 stops. So I'm going to go to 4 different thrift stores. Every single thrift store I go to today has a sale going on for clothing. So let's see what we can find. First store of the day has 50% off all of their clothing, and they have 2 additional sales on top of it. Pink tags are 99 cents and green tags are 50% off. Now, obviously, the green tag sale does not stack with the 50% off sale, but they do allow you to stack that pink tag 99 cent sale with the 50% off. So all pink tags today were only 50 cents. That does not mean that I go into this store and buy every 50-cent item. Being a good reseller means you have to have discernment about what you're picking up despite the cost of goods. The American Eagle jeans you saw me throw in and that pair of loft jeans you just saw me throw into my cart are 50 cents, and I will be throwing these into my Whatnot show mainly to add smaller sizes to my show. I don't typically like picking up smaller sizes, but I do like having size inclusive shows. I don't expect them to go for much more than $5 over there. Again, I can't say this enough, you guys. Be picky about what you're picking up to resell. This pair of Madewell denim, I looked over and over and over again because they are white. They were a larger size, but they're skinny. I'm experimenting picking up skinny jeans again simply because they're back on the runways. They're back in like fall 2025 fashion, which I simply cannot believe. Those will be going into a Whatnot show. Madewell, they were, I think, a size 8. I think I picked them up for $4, and I'll, of course, everything in my Whatnot show starts at $5. So they might sell for $5. I don't know. Okay, so my thoughts while looking through this pair of jeans. I loved the grayish tone to them. They were like almost a florally like autumn print. They were 50 cents. I did end up putting them back, but I'm pretty sure I picked them up anyway off camera. They were DKNY, which is not like a brand I pick up often. This is new with tags. I've said this before many, many times. If I can find new with tag items and throw like for cheap and throw them into my Whatnot show so my Whatnot customers can get great deals on brand spanking new items, I will. Those compression leggings were 50 cents and they came home with me. J. Jill is a brand my customers have asked for repeatedly on Whatnot. I found these. They do need to be thrown into the wash. They have a little bit of dusty on them, but I picked them up. They were $3. So we're in the athletic section, and I'm very picky about athletic pieces, mainly because they have a lot of hidden wear. I highly recommend when you're looking at any thrifted items, check the armpits, check the crotch, check the buttons, check the hems. This Sweaty Betty top was 50 cents. Sweaty Betty is a great brand, but there was just way too much wear on it. Even for 50 cents, I'm not going to be selling that to anybody. That Old Navy tank top I just showed, I actually had the exact same Old Navy tank top on. Does anybody else? I'm like, darn it, I just spent $15 on this tank top new in store, and I just found it pre-owned from the thrift store, but I did leave it. I don't need 2 of them. I was thinking this was a nice brand. It felt amazing, but I think it was just a fast fashion thing, so I left that white tank top behind. You kind of have to take a little bit longer looking through athletic wear to find the logo of the item. Sometimes you can feel, like if I find Lululemon, I can feel it. But oftentimes I look for the logo. And look, this is the exact same pair of shorts I'm wearing, except in pink. I actually got these for myself because I love Old Navy athletic wear. So those came home for me. We got some Lululemon. This is an older style, but again, if I'm picking it up for $2 or $3, I don't know what the exact price of this was, and throwing it into a Whatnot show at a $5 start, hopefully the item gets bid up a little bit, but if not, it's a great brand to throw into your show titles for Whatnot, whether you're making money on it or not.
People love Lululemon. So I'm happy to buy something just to say, hey guys, I'm having a show and I do have Lululemon today. Whatnot is a very strategic game. This is a very simple piece. It's by the brand Splendid. Those were 50 cents joggers. I love having bread and butter pieces in my Whatnot shows as well. So those will go into Whatnot. This pair of blue pants felt like Halara. I really did think they were Halara, but they were an off brand. So I left those behind. OQQ. Oh my goodness. Now that I'm watching this back, OQQ is a brand that's up and coming, became popular on TikTok. I do like to pick it up when I can find it for cheap. This didn't have a tag on it, and I'm just realizing they still sold it to me. So I have no clue what they charged me for this pair of shorts, but they're like seamless biker shorts. If I might try them on, but if I sell them, they'll of course go into my Whatnot shows. Thrifting sourcing is a lot of time looking and looking and looking and looking and looking through racks and often not coming out with much for the amount of stuff you actually touch. I know social media makes it seem so easy. You'll see people's posts of like, I found this many items thrifting and I found this and I found that. Don't let it discourage you because it takes a long time. Of course, there are good days, there are bad days. Sometimes I walk out with tons of stuff, sometimes I walk out with nothing. But this is the reality of me with my headphones in, searching for hours and hours for items to bring home to sell on Poshmark and eBay or to sell on Whatnot. A little bit lazy here. This is a pair of shorts that felt really nice. It's by the brand Dip. They were plus size shorts. They were really cute. But I did not feel like looking up comps, so I put those back on the rack. Tell me if I should have brought them home. I'm not sure. Another thought going through my head while I'm sourcing is seasonality. You have to know what season you're going into, what season you're leaving, because while I'm shopping, I'm looking at current in season pieces. I prioritize looking at them first. And two, I don't want to be picking up shorts and skirts and all that type of stuff for my Whatnot shows, knowing that there are people shopping for themselves in my shows. And I want them to be buying items, bidding up items potentially. And buying items that are not in season is going to make that really hard. Nobody wants to buy a pair of shorts when we're going into fall. So I'm really very picky about what out of season items I'm putting in my cart, even if I'm getting them for cheap. I'm really curious what section you guys go to when you first get into the thrift store. Recently, I've been hitting jeans first. I don't know what about it. I just love jeans and pants. I don't like photographing them, but I think they're just way more fun to look through than tops and sweaters. Okay, I found this pair of Gap trouser pants. They had a pink tag on them, and immediately I was like, okay, why are these still here? There has to be something wrong with them. Surprise, there was nothing wrong with them. They were so cute. They were plus size. I did throw those into the cart for 50 cents. That was a pair of Club Monaco, which is a very expensive brand, like a great pickup for me to buy for 50 cents and throw in a Whatnot show for $5, give somebody a really good deal. I did leave them behind simply because I felt like there was not enough selling points to them. They were really just black trouser pants. All right, next section, let's go. I wanted to look through the men's stuff so badly, but I was like, I have to stick to my routine. Let's continue on to go through the rest of the jeans before going anywhere else. This is a pair of Ann Taylor wide leg cropped pants. I was like, oh my gosh, these are so cute. Do I have anywhere to wear them? No, nowhere to wear them. Maybe church, I guess. But I did throw those into the cart. if those Ann Taylor pants, just like the Club Monaco, if they were boot cut or like a straight leg, simple, not cropped, I probably would have left them behind. But wide leg sells very well in my whatnot shows, so I did grab those, even though they were plain black pants. I did not want to pick up these Chicos simply because they were wrinkled, and you guys know I don't steam or wash or do anything with the clothes unless they really need it. But I did throw those in my cart because they were 100% linen. And Chico's does sell pretty well in my whatnot shows. While you're watching me thrift, I'm hoping to give you a little bit of insight into my thought processes while shopping and sourcing, whether it's for whatnot or Poshmark and eBay. And let's talk about whatnot really quick. So obviously, there's a lot of things you might watch me pass on and wonder, like, why did you pick up that one item, but you left that very similar item behind? It just doesn't make sense to me. Being a live whatnot seller, I take pride of hand picking most of my items, and I hand pick them and bring them home with me because I personally like them. And it's such a simple thing, but it's so much easier to sell something live to somebody when you actually like the pieces you're selling. It's not just like another number or another item, it's something that I put thought and time and effort into. So if it doesn't excite me, like let's for instance go back to that pair of Club Monaco pants. Yes, do they retail for tons of money? They do. They were just too plain for me. I didn't see anything exciting that I could talk about while selling them live on Whatnot. Whereas the Ann Taylor wide leg black pants, which were very similar, just a little bit of a different style, I brought those home with me because I think wide leg pants are very cute, and it's much easier for me to sell something that I actually think is cute than something that I'm just trying to make a quick buck on. I like to handpick my pieces. It's important to me. And here is the perfect example. This little vintage Ramie cotton sweater. Look how darling this is. Now, this is vintage. Am I going to make a ton of money on it? Probably not, but it had embroidery all down the bottom. It was a plus size, which was a huge win for me. It was adorable. And I am so excited to talk about this on a whatnot auction and sell it to you guys. That went into my cart. Yes, please. This was such a cute sweatshirt. Isn't this so cute? It says Love Club on it, obviously. It was white though, and as I said before, I'm always super nervous to bring home white items. I never want to have to OxyClean or anything like that. So I did leave it behind even though it was adorable. H&M personally is one of my favorite brands to wear in sweaters, but I left that H&M blue sweater behind as well. LL Bean is a great pickup. I do love selling LL Bean items in my show, but that little plaid shacket was a smaller size. It was pretty bulky and it had some washwear on it, so I did leave that one behind. Carhartt is almost always a yes. If I can find it in good condition. It's kind of funny because Carhartt does not sell well in my Poshmark and eBay stores, even though I know some people make crazy money on it. This will go on to my whatnot show. It's just a nice base layer piece that I got for a few bucks. Again, not a huge money maker, but every dollar adds up. This sweater right here was absolutely stunning. It was a long line. It felt like mohair, but it wasn't mohair, so I did leave it behind, sadly, and it had a little bit of pilling on it. Otherwise, I probably would have brought that one home with me. This is a Calvin Klein long sleeve. It's almost a lightweight sweater, very basic. It was 50 cents. And I liked this piece. I thought it had a little bit going for it because that Calvin Klein hit on the front was embroidered rather than a stamp on. So for 50 cents, that's an easy whatnot flip for me. We'll come back to that Gap shirt, but right now let's focus on this J. Crew yellow button down. It was absolutely stunning and it was 100% cotton. This was an easy yes for me. At the point that I'm doing the voiceover for this video, I've actually sold most of the items I picked up. So I am going to try to give you a little bit of details about how they sold if I remember how they sold. A lot of the stuff I get is for Whatnot, and if you're interested in seeing exactly how I decide what goes on Whatnot versus what goes on Buy It Now, I do have an entire video about that here on my YouTube page, so I highly recommend checking that out. Sometimes Whatnot is not about like making the biggest amount of money on an item. If you can flip 100 items in one show, and you're making $2 or even $3, $4 on those items, that is a great profit if you are running the items fast enough. So sometimes I do pick up lower cost of good items for Whatnot, like the American Eagle jeans I showed you at the very beginning, or the Loft jeans, or some just really nice closet staple pieces. Those are really good for my Whatnot shows because I don't expect them to sell for a lot to begin with, even if I was to post them on my Buy It Now platforms. But again, if you want to see the full video of how I decide what goes where, please go check out that video. This is a little Y2K moment. I definitely don't pick up vintage very often. This is St. John's Bay, which is not a brand I typically pick up for resale. But when it comes to Whatnot and style-based things, this was a really good piece in my opinion. It actually sold pretty well in my shows and people were requesting for me to pick up more Y2K style things. It's definitely not my niche. I try when I can, but I find that usually when I pick up that type of style item, it sells a little bit slower in my Whatnot shows. However, on my Buy It Now, where I'm finding the right buyer for the item and I'm pricing it accordingly, it can do really well, especially on platforms like Depop. I mean, eBay is a really great site for selling vintage or Y2K things. You just have to know how to market them. One of my favorite sections to look through is the jackets, especially as we're in the fall and winter season. I don't think I picked up anything this trip, but I find that during the fall and winter, my average sale price definitely goes up because of selling things like jackets or boots or just more of those substantial pieces that can bring in more money. And that same idea goes to Whatnot sales as well. If you can pick up a really nice jacket and sell it on Whatnot, yes, the shipping may be a little bit more expensive, but you can make some great money. For example, just the other day, I found a jacket at a closed mentor sale. I sold it for on Whatnot. I think it went for around $20 and I had less than $2 into it. So you can make some really great money picking up quality, substantial pieces and selling them on Whatnot if you don't want to go the buy it now route. This store really has the smallest purse selection, and the ones they do put out on the floor are usually absolutely destroyed. My sister Erin, she's on my channel a lot. She finds the best purses, and I have zero luck. So didn't get any purses this time around. Although I do like to sell purses when I can find them. For my Buy It Now platforms, I usually do more of the quote designer purses like Dooney and Burke or Coach or Kate Spade. But my buyers over on Whatnot, I have found really do enjoy purchasing purses and wallets. I just find that they are really hard to find in not beat up condition. Another aisle I love to check, and I find you can get some hidden gems for sure. This is a torrid, like kind of lingerie piece, almost like a bralette in a 5XL. I picked that up and then I found another one very similar and I picked that one up as well. I think they were $3 each. You know what's super funny, you guys, is I host plus size shows every single week on my Whatnot, size extra large all the way up to size 5X, 4X, just depends on what I sourced that week. And the larger sizes, like the 4X, 5X, actually sell worse for me in my plus size shows than the smaller sizes do. I just find that very ironic. So I am actually very picky about what plus size items I pick up once we get to the 3X, 4X, 5X stage, because I find that they usually sell for my asking price. It's just something kind of funny that I noticed in my whatnot shows. So at the time I was filming this video, I was selling all seasons in my whatnot show. At the time I'm editing this video, I have since changed that, which I never thought I would say this, but now I am only selling in-season items in my whatnot shows because the out-of-season stuff, it is great quality. I find such good stuff, but it is selling to next to nothing, and I'd rather maximize my profit on those items. So currently, I'm still picking up out-of-season items for my whatnot shows if I find they have enough selling points, but I am holding on to them and I will pull them out once we get into the season they correlate with. I do still list out of season items on my Poshmark, eBay, Depop, and Mercari account, but for whatnot, because items already sell for so cheap on there, I have decided to kind of hold off on selling out of season stuff. I still source it while I'm out because my time is money, and I find I might as well pick stuff up while I'm there, but I do not post it or show it in my lives anymore. We are on to the second thrift store. This one is definitely more expensive, and this thrift store that I'm at right now has a $1 clothing tag sale, and then they also have 50% off one of the clothing tag colors. So I'm looking for those dollar tags, but I'm not picking them all up. As I said before, I am picky because I don't want to put items that are just not good quality in my shows. I like to have items that have multiple selling points. So we're being picky, but we are trying to, of course, shop that sale. I'm curious what section of the store you guys start in. I find that the section I start in always depends on what store I'm at. The store I'm in right now, I always go to the jeans first because they're so easy to look through, or the jeans and the pants. They're so easy to look through. This store has 2 tiers for their shirts and sweaters, and I find it so difficult to look through because my arms, I'm just not strong enough. That's what it comes down to. I cannot reach the top tier or the top row of the clothes. You can kind of see them in the background. So I almost never look at the tops and sweaters in this store just because I find it kind of is a waste of my time. But the pants, one of my favorites, depending on the season, jackets, shoes, the more substantial areas of the store is what I like to hit first. Here we had a brand new pair. I think those were Talbot's or Chico's pants, but they were priced a little bit too expensive. We're just going through looking for something that calls my name. Brand is something that always catches my attention first. And then if I see it's a good brand, I will start looking at the style. Here we are. I'm in my little Lululemon thrifted jacket. I actually think I got that from Whatnot. There's my Old Navy tank top and my Old Navy shorts. This definitely was filmed a while ago because now we are in November and I'm definitely not walking around in shorts. I lost this footage and I just refound it. So that's why I'm editing it on such a late date. But I felt like I could make some informational content with this stuff. So please excuse the late or delayed posting of this video. This is the plus size section in the tops and sweaters. I always take a little bit of a peek in the plus size section, but I don't go much further than that. As I said, my arms get too tired and I give up because of the bottom row being basically on the floor and the top row being basically on the ceiling. I just have no patience or time for that. Probably not very good of me, but I'm just being honest with you guys. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, yes, this was a pair of Acris Punto pants, and they were only $6. This is like a designer brand, very high end. What's this one? And that's Wilford Free. I think those were marked pretty low, and I probably picked them up. But the Acris Punto pants, really pretty pair of trousers. They're very plain. I was going to throw them into my Whatnot show because they were only $6, and I knew that somebody out there probably would have enjoyed getting this designer pair of pants for cheap. Later, I realized they were brand new with the tag. And oh, yeah, see, I just saw it. Brand new with the tag. And they were like retailed for $298 or something. I was going to put these in my whatnot show. And then as I pulled them out, after I sorted them and everything, my shows had kind of slowed down a little bit. And I didn't want to put those in knowing I might just get my $5 starting bid. So I did list those myself and they are still available. I picked up this pair of J. Jill brand new with the tag pants. Those sold, I think, for my asking price. I probably lost money on those. Again, this was during a time where my shows seemed to just have a little bit of a slowdown. Selling on whatnot is definitely not for the weak. Some days it's you end a show and you're just very discouraged. Other days you feel like you're on top of the world. And some of the items in here, when I found them as I was filming this video, I was super excited to find them. I thought they would sell really well. Of course, I had high hopes. But some of them sold for basically next to nothing. So everybody in my shows gets good deals, which I love. But it is the reality of a whatnot seller. You have to expect for your items to sell for your starting price. And sometimes it stinks. But as I always say, if you're looking to sell and whatnot, you focus on the total profit per sale, not the total profit per item. This was a stunning Liberty fabric skirt. Look at the pattern on this. This definitely came home with me. I paid their full asking price for this one. I know it's out of season, but this is going on my Buy It Now platform. I'm going to show you how I check comps. I get lots of questions about this. So the first thing you need is the Google app, and you'll press the little camera icon to the right of the search bar and take a picture of the item that you want to comp out. I have it here. Sorry, it's a little bit far away. I found the item, and what I do is I copy the item title. Sometimes this was a Free People dress. So Free People is really known for having like specific names for their style items. What I do is I take that title or the item style and I type that into eBay. I search it and see what comes up. I always filter it by condition. This was a pre-owned dress. So we're filtering it by pre-owned, and then we're going to scroll all the way down to sold. When you're looking up items to see what they're selling for, you need to find a sold comp. You cannot go by what they're listed for because it doesn't matter what they're listed for. It matters what somebody has previously paid. That is what the item is valued at. And after checking comps, I decided to leave that behind. It just was not worth it. This was a beautiful plus size J. Jill dress. I think that was marked at $1, which was a great find. Needed a little bit of a wash, no problem. I'll throw it I have a basket here in my office that I keep, and I throw items in it that need to be washed. And once the basket is full, I will run a load of laundry specifically for my business. Otherwise, I don't do laundry. I don't wash the clothes before I get them. Everything is washed to wear. Here I am still thinking about this dress because look how cute it is with the puff sleeves. Don't let your feelings about an item persuade you to buy an item, especially if you've looked up comps and the comps just aren't there. You won't get the money you want just because you think it's cute. You need to stick by what you know. I love to sell shoes, but most of the thrift stores near me price their shoes up pretty expensive. Sometimes I will find a hidden gem. Like the other week while I was sourcing here, I found some Eileen Fisher espadrilles that were like only $12. But most of the time, this store has priced up their shoes where there is no money to be made. However, I always look to see if I can find something for myself, of course. I love a good pair of shoes, and shoes are expensive. Shoes are so expensive. So anytime I can find them secondhand, I'm happy to take them home with me. I do not pick up shoes that need any type of cleaning. I don't like doing it. I often find that when I do find a pair of shoes that need cleaning and I buy it, that they sit in the corner of my office for weeks and weeks. So I try to keep picking up items that don't need any specialty care before I can list them. This was a cool pair of Vans. I did comp them out because I've sold a pair of Vans pretty similar to this. These weren't really worth that much, so I did leave them behind. But always check the weird style things because you might be pleasantly surprised. All right, you guys, I'm going to put part 2 of this sourcing trip into another video. So if you want to see part 2, be sure to subscribe. You'll also get notified of any other reselling content I put out here on my YouTube page. If you like this kind of content, the thrifting trip, source with me, the voiceovers, please give this video a thumbs up. It lets me know what you guys want to see more of. And if you have made it all the way through to the end of this video and you're listening to this now, I would love for you guys to go to the comments of this video and share what your favorite thrifted piece you found this week is. Share with me how much it cost, why you picked it up. Maybe it's a personal item, maybe it's something to resell for profit. This is how we learn. I love the community that we've built here, and you guys are always teaching me new things that I should be on the lookout. So drop those special finds in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches.